Welcome to the Claims Underground podcast with your hosts, Corey Locke and Troy Willis, where we help policyholders just like you understand your policy and how to navigate through an insurance claim. We advocate for homeowners as well as businesses when insurance companies won't pay. So if you're tired of getting the runaround and ready to find out what's really going on, then let's get down to business and learn from the insurance claims experts, Corey Locke and Troy Willis.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us with the Claims Underground. This is Corey Locke. I'm a public adjuster, 35-year adjuster and public adjuster now. I'm an expert witness and also a property damage estimator. With me tonight is my friend and business partner, Troy Willis. Troy?
Hi, everyone. I'm Troy Willis. I am also a licensed public adjuster. I am also a retired builder. I'm a certified appraiser and umpire. I have been in the insurance industry for more than 30 years, and my job is to advocate for policyholders. Today's show that we're going to talk about today are about endorsements. We have covered understanding your policies, and that way we've covered the perils on the policy so you know exactly how it applies. And one of the things we need to talk about is endorsements and how endorsements apply to people, insurance policies. And just to kind of brief on what the endorsements are, and then Corey's going to elaborate a lot more on it in detail, kind of give you an idea of what we're talking about here. Endorsements are basically an amendment or an addition to the existing policy, which is your contract. That changes the terms or the scope of the original policy. It changes what was originally printed on what it says it'll do to what it won't do or what it will do. So let's say, for example, if it says that it's covered in an endorsement, it may say it's not covered. And if it says it's not covered in the policy, endorsement may say that it is covered. And what that basically means is just that because endorsements, they used to call them back in the day riders. I think they even call a few of them today. They can be added to a policy. They can be deleted. They can be altered, things of that nature. So it's important to understand that, this contract is a legal binding contract. You need to know how these endorsements play a part on your benefits after you have a loss. So we're going to come to the question today for the people to ask. I'm going to be the people's advocate at this and ask Corey, hey, what is these endorsements on our policy? Because we all like to know.
So the endorsement is going to be found on your deck page. The deck page is what lists you as being the contact, your policy period. It's going to list your policy number, the amount of your coverages. But right under that, where it says your coverages, A, B, C, and D, it's also going to list your endorsements by number. It's going to be specific numbers. It may give you a little blurb about what it is: replacement cost, contents, replacement cost, guaranteed dwelling. But the first thing that I think you spoke of in a prior segment, Troy, is that you start at the first at the front of the sheet, and the deck sheet, make sure it's your actual policy, because God knows we've run into that before where they send us someone else's policy. So make sure it's yours. Then flip to the very back, and in the back, that's where the endorsements all are placed. And by the way, I think we didn't hit on this, but I think we need to emphasize, when you have a loss, ask for a certified copy of your policy. Ask for a certified copy of your policy. In California, it's an obligation. Once we make the demand, they have to give us a certified copy of the policy. The insured can make a certified copy of a policy request to the agent, but we normally ask that of the insurance company when we come on. So what that means is a certified policy means everything that's part of that policy is in that certification. They certify this is full and correct. You don't want to get some sort of copy or policy, go on down the road, and then say, well, you forgot about this endorsement. Well, you didn't give that to me in my policy. Oh, well, we forgot. Well, under a certified copy of policy, you're really kind of forbidden from bringing up stuff that you didn't volunteer as being certified. It's a little bit of a step that requires you to only ask for a certified copy of the policy. If there's a misstep on the insurance company's part, that's, strike one against them. But it's at the back. You read your policies like this: endorsement your deck page first, go to the back, start reading that all the way till you get to the front. And the reason we say that is if you had to read the regular policy, the boilerplate, the stuff that applies for 50 states, you will be exhausted. You'll be confused. You'll say, how does this apply to me? And why aren't they paying for all this? And what are they talking about basements? Okay, so you start at the back, and usually the endorsements are applicable for your state. A lot of times we're going to see the endorsement say California endorsement changes. For, a policy might be 50 states, but in California, this one requires a whole lot of things that maybe other states don't require. So you'll see in the back changes of actual language in the policy that says page 2 of the policy states is now gone, and this is the language that will apply now. It changes what was said to what will be said and what will be applicable. Too often we've not paid attention to this and carefully. And one of the examples we were told, Troy, back in one of our CAPIA meetings is that if you have a guaranteed replacement cost endorsement where there is an application of more coverage, if you go through your initial coverage, let's say you have initial coverage of $100,000 and you go through that because your losses increases beyond $100,000, you might have an additional replacement cost endorsement that increases that 25%, 50%, 80%, 100%. It's crucial to read that because what may have been written in the main policy on how they will pay it may have been unintendedly changed in the guaranteed replacement cost. Also clue in, it says there will be a difference for that, whether or not this changes the limits of liability or is an incurred cost if you should go beyond that initial payment. That's crucial to know. Too often we are told, rightly or wrongly, until we investigate the policy, we'll know specifically that, that's by incurred costs. We have $100,000 we're paying you now, but you have another $80,000 if you actually spend the money. Hold on. Let's read what it says. If it says the limits of liability have been changed and how the claim gets paid is changed, then your concept of incurred costs also changes. So this is a typical push that we all need to be aware of. And too often enough, you got people reading from a script that says, we don't pay for that until they show us they actually spent it. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe you just need to read this more carefully. And usually, as we found, a policy turns on one word, may or shall. May is permissive, shall is required. So endorsements are at the back of change everything, maybe in your favor, maybe not in your favor. But it definitely changes the entire intent of the policy to apply to your jurisdiction.
That's so well put. I mean, it's so critical to know those because as you spoke, the policy, definitely the California endorsement policy, one of those examples is mold. And some of the policies that read clearly that they don't have any mold coverage whatsoever. But if you read your endorsement, which is that California endorsement, it lists up to $10,000 in coverage, which, you wouldn't know unless you actually read the policy. And if someone did know, they'd actually been and thought, I got mold, it's not covered. I just read on page 6 that it's not covered, but that, it was too drawn out to get to the end. One line say we pay for this, and then you read down 2 paragraphs, and then it say we don't pay for this, and it almost looked like the same line you just read. It's just being able to physically interpret what they're putting. And, what I found best when I had to learn to read policies is take it one step at a time. Read it and understand it before you just read all of it and don't understand it. It's confusing. Well, it's definitely been a pleasure again, educating the people on different topics of their insurance policies. And today's topic, of course, is what is an endorsement? We'd always like to leave this show with a thought out for the people for the day. And you want this slot tonight? You want me to take the slot for the thought tonight? What would you like?
I'll take the slot because I think it kind of dovetails off what I just said. The thought for the night is ask your agent, if this was your policy, what would you want in it?
Ooh, that was deep. And I hope people take that one for real and take it to their agent. I like that thought for the day. Until next time, people, thank you for joining us at Claims Underground today. And we will see you later. And signing off, Troy Willis.
Corey Locke, thanks again.
Thanks for listening to the Claims Underground podcast. We hope you enjoyed this segment. If you need more information on insurance policies, feel free to check out our website, www.claimsunderground.com.